This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to the new segment of our business analysis course lessons. In the previous one, we looked at the tasks that a business analyst is involved in across different phases of the project. I hope things are clear and that you were able to go through the points that have been mentioned here, and there are no such queries. Okay. Anyways, once we get into the hands-on approach that we have to use, quite a few points which are mentioned in this slide will be more or less clear by that time. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Here we need to look at the team structure of an IT project. Again, those who are already in the IT industry working in some role or the other, they would be more or less aware of what are the different uh, skill sets that are required within a particular team for a project execution. But even then, I would say that even they would not be aware of certain additional roles which are there in the project, because these are, it depends on the type of project that you're working for. The basic structure remains the same, but over and above that, there would be few more roles that would be required in certain projects. So this slide is to give you an idea, like to have an understanding about that if you join a particular team as a business analyst, then who are the different type of team members that you would have to really interact and get the things done. Okay, so we'll start with the project manager. So project manager, as goes the name, a person who is good in project management, using the different tools for planning, executing and monitoring the project activities. Also, leading the entire team towards, delivering on time, managing the onshore offshore model, updating the management about the regular happenings in the project, and being aligned with the stakeholders, having this high level discussions about the project delivery and all those things. That is something which is taken care by a project manager. Also, looking at the risk management involved. Then you have a business analyst. Of course, that is what the entire course is about. So it starts with requirements elicitation analysis and it goes on till different activities all through the project. Focus being more on ensuring that uh, the final deliverable is as close to what is the expected business objective. Okay, so that is what a business analyst would be involved in. Then you have the developers. The actual coding part is done by these developers. So these are the ones who rely heavily on the documentation which has been provided by the business analyst to get a clear understanding of what is the specific feature or functionality that has to be delivered, and accordingly use they may be using different programming language based on the need of the project. It may be C or C hash or Python or Java or you know uh, it could be Visual Basic. It could be any such programming language. Also, they should be aware of the methodologies which are followed properly, and they should be able to do proper coding and have this debugging skills also. Once a defect has been raised, they should be able to identify the specific spot in the code where the fix needs to be implemented and work accordingly. So that would be done by the developers. Then you have the quality assurance or testers, who are nothing but, when I say QA, I'm referring to the quality assurance. Okay, so quality assurance team or the testers, these are the ones who actually test the application which has been developed. Again, that could be manual testing, automation testing. For automation, there could be different tools that are used. And within testing, it could be, we will see if we can have a slide on it in the later course, wherein I can talk about the different type of testing. But okay, at a high level, I can say that you'll have your unit testing, then you'll have your system integration testing, you'll have your regression testing, acceptance testing, and a lot more such testing which will be done by this particular team members. Okay, so they are the ones who will ensure that whatever has been developed is really meeting the purpose or not, and if not, they'll raise the bugs or defects and assign a priority level to that, and work with the developers closely to get those fixed, and then do the retesting, and then give the approval that yes, this feature has been thoroughly tested. Okay, so that is what the quality assurance team does. Then you have the system architects. These are the one. Usually, it could be one particular system architect for a set of projects within the company, or it could be a team of system architects would be there, which could also be referred to as EA team, enterprise architecture team, because they would be knowing the entire architecture of full-fledged solution, not just of your project, but your project might be a subset of a huge application. So they have this in and out understanding of the entire architecture. So you'll have someone like that also who would be responsible in designing the overall system architecture. So their focus always is on designing so that the solution is scalable and you can have this performance optimization and all. And they should be really very well aware with the tech stack and all that stuff. Okay, so you'll have a couple of system architects used in the project sometimes. Then you have the Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is the one, again, when we get into the agile learning down the course, we will get into the details of the business analyst, who would also be referred to as product owner sometimes, and the Scrum Master and the team development team. Okay, so there we'll get into details. But here I can say that Scrum Master is one who would be responsible to ensure that the project is following the concepts of Agile and Scrum to the best extent possible. So ensuring that it is happening, running the events, ensuring the Scrum ceremonies are managed very well, and ensuring that the sprints are really being run properly. That is something which a Scrum Master would be doing. Then, in some cases, in some of the projects, there'll be a lot of emphasis on the database which is being used. So there you need the database administrators who would be again experts in the DB design, optimization, administration, data security, data compliance, and all that stuff. Okay, this is more like a remote role because their focus is always on databases, so their interaction with the other team members may not be that much high because they would be required whenever there is a database related, work that needs to be sorted out. Then you have the UI UX designers. UI stands for user interface, and UX stands for user experience. In fact, even earlier, I used to think both are synonymous, one and same, but later on, I got to know that there is a difference in the user experience and user interface. So you'll have a team. Usually, it is referred to as a design team. So they would be responsible to ensure that the front end, which is used by the customers, end customers, in our case of food delivery app, it could be the app screens itself. So designing the screens, taking a decision on how many screens should be there, what all questions can be asked in which screen, how to make the questions as simple to understand as possible, how to make the entire journey as much, intuitive as possible, and give that seamless customer experience for the end user to create a food delivery order and track it. All these things would be taken care by the UI UX designers. So they would be again working on a lot of tools like Figma or Pencil, Sketch, Lucidchart, or Adobe XD. It depends. It depends on the project what they use. Miro could be used sometimes. So these are the ones who would be doing the design part of the project. So this is not the end. Actually, I have a few more roles like this, but these are the roles which would be most commonly part of most of the projects. Okay, whenever you get into any project, you will definitely have a project manager, you will definitely have a BA, and design team and developers and testers for sure, and Scrum Master if it's agile. The other team members, like as I mentioned, DBA or system architects or DevOps engineers. Okay, these are all roles which would be over and above based on the criticality of the project, based on if your project is a subset of a bigger project, and based on the additional layers that get added to the project. These new roles come into picture within your project. So DevOps engineer, these people will be focusing on the CI/CD, which is nothing but your continuous integration, and continuous development related, ensuring the pipelines of the release cycles are maintained properly, so that the database which is being touched, or the microservices, or the APIs, ensuring that if different teams are touching the same set of servers and all, or having simultaneous releases and all, then putting a structure to that, ensuring that there is no sort of impact, a negative impact of one release over the other. That and all is handled by the DevOps engineers. These people have a tough time when there are too many things to be released in a short span of time, and usually these releases will be planned over weekends, so this keeps them a little busy at that point of time. So that comes under the DevOps engineer or activity. Then you have the support team. Support team again would be required when you have a project wherein you're handling just one part of it, whereas there are three, four other projects you're handling the other parts of it. In that case, what happens is there should be a proper understanding of which part of the feature or functionality is being developed and tested by whom, and how it is going to serve as an input or an output to another project. So every project will have one support team member who will be interacting with the other support team members of other projects, and ensuring that there's a proper understanding of the entire uh, project functionalities and all. So that would be the support team. This also, again, as I said, if the team or the project is really of a bigger size, wherein work is being split into multiple teams and all, then support team comes into picture. Then you have the security experts. So you have nowadays a lot of focus is coming on to the cybersecurity and all. So there are few levels of additional testing that happens by these security experts. In fact, there could be some groups called ISG groups within the companies which focus on this, in which are nothing but ISG stands for internal security group. So they will do a lot of analysis on the vulnerability. They'll generate reports on the vulnerability and the loopholes that could be possible, and the data security fixes that need to be implemented and all. Once the entire solution is developed and tested, they do this final round of testing and they provide an approval. So they come under the security group, experts group. Okay. Then you have the technical writers. This again is required in those projects where there's a lot of documentation. So when there's huge documentation required, so instead of putting that entire burden onto the business analyst, some teams can hire some technical writers who will be able to create this comprehensive, project documentation, which could have user manuals or technical guides, or more things like that. Then you have the change management team. So have been stressing on the point of requirements getting changed and all those things, right? So there'll be a change management team sometimes involved, which will have key stakeholders also sometimes as part of the team of change management, and they take a call. Like if this particular change has come into picture, then should we take it right now or should we take it later? How is it going to impact the other parts of the project? And what is the severity of it? What is the priority of it? And all those decisions. So they take a decision, they provide an approval, and then only then it gets into implementation in that phase or the next phase. So like that, you'll have a change management team. And then you have the legal compliance team. Again, these people would be required when you're working in a project which has a lot of stress or focus on ensuring that they are not that they're abiding by all the legal framework and the regulatory framework that is being passed on by that particular industry or that particular government or regulatory body and things like that. Because if the company doesn't do that, even if it is not done out of ignorance, it can have a huge impact. So to avoid that, again, whenever a project is about to be launched, there will be a thorough uh, test done to see if it is really abiding by all the rules of the land, or is there something which is not getting followed. So all that legal and regulatory aspects. So this will obviously have people who are very well versed with the legal structure and all that stuff. And finally, you could have some financial analysts also. So this again would be required in projects where there is a lot of requirement to look into budget management, financial analysis, and things like that. So these are the different type of roles that you get to see in a IT project. As again I said, these are the ones which would be more commonly found across, and these would be as and when the requirement in the project comes up. You might come across people of this particular skill set also. You as a business analyst, your work would be more with the project manager, the developers, the QA team, the UI UX team, and the Scrum Master. Other people, your interaction with them would be again, as per the needs of the project. Okay, for example, in your finalizing the requirements, you might have to get an approval from the legal compliance team also, apart from the actual stakeholders, and only then you can document it and take it uh, to the technical team for development and testing. So that sort of things you will be able to know when you get into a project and when you start discussing about the needs of the project with the project manager and then taking it forward. Okay, so this is in short. And as I said, some of these roles may not be known to even those people who have been working for years together in the IT projects. So it's a good to know. It's a good to know thing that, okay, these are the sort of things that will be part of your IT project delivery and how it really adds to the total project. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll move on to the next topic in the next video. Thanks, everyone.